Um, Good afternoon, Mary. It's
Hello.
it's a pleasure to be here with you today. My name is Zeneyda and my partner is Yoselin. We will interview you about education, religion, and another topics. And
Okay.
the purpose of this interview is to learn about um to know different topics and about your experience in the United States. The first,
Okay.
my partner Jocelyn will ask you the first question.
Hello,
Okay.
Mary. Good afternoon. Okay. Well, um, what do you think about this question? If you do you believe that religion is the same that faith?
No, I think that
Okay.
religion is man-made. It's different than spirituality. There's a huge difference. The Bible has been translated and manipulated so much, and your faith is a one-on-one with God. Your spirituality is a one-on-one with God. That's why uh, we don't really go to church anymore. We used to, but now it's just a one-on-one. I talk to God, and it's 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 not guided by any man. It's guided by my spirituality.
Okay. And the second question, my partner Zeneyda. The microphone, Zeneyda.
What role does religion play in the United States?
Oh, I think it's still very huge. I
Uh-huh.
think that there's still a very huge spiritual following, especially when it comes to abortion. Um, uh, huge, huge, hugely against abortion and right for life and all that stuff. Um, and we want to go back. And President Trump is very spiritual. He's a Christian person, and he always, thanks God and talks about God, and which is huge. And uh, I mean, there are those who are antichrist and all that, which is horrible. And there is a huge movement. There's a lot of evil people in the United States, in the world, of course. But I think that the good is gonna overcome the evil. I'm sure of it. I feel very confident about that.
Mhm. In
Great.
in this the government taught different things about religions or the politics is yes or no. That Donald
Well,
Trump
as I just said, he's very spiritual.
uh-huh,
He's Christian, and
uh-huh,
he's a stand-up fellow. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, um, and he believes in God, and he talks about God all the time.
uh-huh,
Um, and I think that he's protected. Praise God, I think he's protected. Hence the
yes.
couple of assassination attempts. So I believe he's going to initiate more. How do I want to say more? I don't want to say spiritually led policies, but more, like I said, he's going to stop boys from going in the women's restroom. He's going to stop boys from making sports. He's going to lead us back to a more solid Christian country than we've
Okay.
gotten away from.
Okay. Well, the the question. My question is, how religion influence in public education in United States?
Well, there's a lot of like Montessori schools and Christian academies and things like that. Um, so I'm very happy about that. My kids were in a Christian academy. But otherwise in school, there's I used to say the Pledge of Allegiance, and when I was in school, they don't say that anymore. Um, because it says I pledge allegiance to the flag. Anyway, they don't say that anymore. They've gotten away from God in school, but yet they'll bring in transvestites for story time, and they'll have transvestites reading stories to the children. But yet you can't talk about God. You can't read a Bible story in school, but you can have this transvestite reading a story. So yeah, the public school system, uh, yeah, there is no Christianity unless it's a bona fide Christian school, Montessori school, or Amish. The Amish. There's something you should talk about is the Amish community. That's fabulous. The Amish community is so solid. They don't take vaccines. They don't get sick. They don't use they don't use modern conveniences and electricity and things like that. And they're so solid and so strong. They're such a good community. So that would be a good thing. I could hook you up with somebody if you wanted to hear about a Amish community.
Okay,
Okay.
well, the last question.
The last question is about education. What programs exist to support a student with disabilities or special needs in the United States?
Can you
United
repeat that,
States
please?
um, have
What?
the government of United States an special program when, for example, a poor people um, goes to school. They have for example, in Costa Rica, the government give a support or give a scholarship for children and for young people that they want to continue with the studies. United States have a special program for
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's all about that. There's all kinds of, well, there's
Mhm.
Special Olympics,
Mhm.
so handicapped children do Special Olympics. Yeah, there's special classes for children with um, disabilities and things like that. So yeah, they cater very well to children with disabilities. I would
Mhm.
say. However,
Mhm.
there's the rate of autism is skyrocketed in the United States, and I believe that's because of vaccines. I'm sorry to say, is it has, and I believe they over medicate the children as opposed to addressing the actual source of the problem. They just want to give them drugs. They want to give them yeah,
uh,
drugs to just yeah. So they don't get to the source of the problem. They just label them as ADHD or something, and that's not right. You got to get to the source of the problem and really find out why the child is acting like that. Um, yeah, so I don't agree with the whole medication thing with the kids, but yeah, I think for the most part, except for the medication part of over medicating the children who have disabilities. I think they address it pretty well. And yeah, there's advocates. There are
Mhm.
advocates for the kids, and
And
yeah,
and
thank God.
this.
I haven't experienced that, with
Mhm.
my kids. Thank God.
In this country, avoid the discrimination with these students with disabilities or not.
I didn't get that. I'm sorry.
In the United States, avoid that discrimination with students that have different disabilities or special needs.
I think the biggest problem, probably with children with that are different,
Uh-huh.
is bullying. That's
Mhm.
huge. I mean, there are so many children that commit suicide in the United States because of bullying, and they're different, or I, I don't know why kids get so mean. If somebody doesn't seem to fit their genre or their idea of what a kid should be like, and so many kids are committing suicide. But as far as are they catered to, are they taken care of? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't think there's many that aren't, unless
Okay.
I don't know, unless they're on the streets and they're not going to school. If they're on the streets and they're
Mhm.
they're not being taken care of at all, by school or doctors or anything, then that's obviously a problem, you know.
Mhm. Okay. And
Well, Mary,
my partner Jocelyn to continue the conclusion of this interview.
well, Mary,
Okay.
it was a pleasure for us to share with you, and that you share with us the knowledge that you have about the question that we to do. Well, we really appreciate your time, and thank you very much for your help. Thank you,
I hope I
Mary.
was helpful. I hope I was helpful. I'm sorry. I didn't know that it was going to be, I didn't know it was going to be such hard questions.
Okay.
Don't worry, don't worry. Thank you
Don't
very
worry.
much.
but
Thank you very
but I
much.
can if you need recommendations for other people who might be more knowledgeable, or if you want to talk about the Amish community, that would be a huge interview right there. That would be very interesting. So anyway,
Thank you.
ciao.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Have a good day.